Lesson 2. Gen Therapy. Gen therapy, knowledge of genetics, is making possible new fields of healthcare. The gen therapy has become a commonly used term in biomedical research. Gen therapy replaces a faulty gene or adds a new gene in an attempt to cure disease or improve your body's ability to fight disease. So, ang gen therapy ay siya'y nagahatod og nucleic acid sa mga cells sa mga pasyente bilang isang gamot para doon gamutin ang mga sakit na anuman ang mga sakit na gagamutin. And then, heredity is the passing on traits from parents to their offspring either through a sexual reproduction. The offspring cells or organisms acquire the genetic information of their parents. Biology of genetics, the study of heredity. So, ang heredity kanang inheritance sa usa ka pamilya. Example, ang isa sa ginikanan mama ba nimo or papa nimo na naay HIV, naa jud isa ka tawo anak nimo na maapektuhan nagikan sa imong mga parents. And then, penetrance. Penetrance, a measure of how often a disease genotype correlates to the disease phenotype. So, ang penetrance ay kanang nag-carry sa isa ka individual na tao of a gene na maka-express o associated trait na ang uban kanay complete, ang uban kanay incomplete. Sunod, genetic engineering. It involves the removal of a desirable gene from a cell, adding it to the gene structure of a bacterial cell, and replacing the recombinant DNA through the bacterial cell. So, ang genetic engineering, kini ang technology na ginagamit para mabuo or magbago ang mga cell sa pag-add or paglipat ng mga gene na nasa loob ng tao at doon mabubuo ang isang organism or organismo. Doon i-connect niya upang doon ay maging maayos ang isa katao.
Deceased people cured by fixing their genes. Putting genes into plants and domestic laboratory animals is one thing. So karon naiduha diri ka mga procedure na until karon is ginadibatehan pa. It's because ang kini manggod nga heading is somewhat ilahang gusto is mapaayo ang mga naay sakit through pag-ilis og mga genes, no? Through pag kuha og genes tapos ilisan og lain. So ingana ilang gusto. And then naiduha ka procedure ang mga scientist. So nasa duha ka procedure nga until karon ginadabatihan. First is insert foreign genetic material into the germ line into sperm or eggs where they could be passed on to succeeding generations. The second procedure used genetic engineering to insert foreign genes into somatic cells into any cells except sperm or eggs and their progenitors in an efforts to correct some genetic defect. So, ginadibatihan ni siya, it's because ang duha ka procedure is lahi-lahi o gusto. Ang first procedure, gusto nga gamiton ang sperm o egg cell. While ang second procedure is dili sila gusto nga gamiton ang sperm o ang egg cell. Basta lain-lain lang nga cell, basta dili lang jud ang sperm o ang egg. Another is that tungod ani nga panghitabo, tungod aning still karon ginadibatehan pa siya, daghan og mga doubt, daghan og mga pangutana gikan sa mga katawhan sa kana nga si tawag ani heading. So na mga nangutana nga, does the process work? Will it yield a better quality of life for the treated individual? Were the patient's parents or guardians given informed consent? So ingana siya, it's because daghan og mga doubt kay kini manggod nga procedure is harmful jud siya especially tungod kay ang ilahang gi praktisan or ilahang gikuanan is mga nanay sakit, no? So, if ever man nga dili siya successful or dili siya nindot og epekto, mas so luoy jud ang patient. Mo nang until karon daghan jud og nagduda about ani nga mga procedures. Naman guy possibility nga ang daan nga genes ug ang bag-o nga genes is or of somewhat ang nabilin nga genes ug ang gipuling nga gene is dili sila mag-compatible. So, pwede jud nga ma-harmful ang patient. The role of genes in heredity. The heredity information is contained or within the genes located in the chromosomes of each cell. Heredity factors known as genes are thought to exist as discrete portions or known as loci of chromosomes. The term discrete refers to the concept that genes are always located at the same point or locus on a chromosome. So, ang ato ang mga inherited trait is pwede na siya ma-determine by one or many genes, and single gene can influence more than one trait. So, a human cell contains many thousands of different genes in the nucleus. It is also believed that pairs of homologous chromosomes contain linear, matching arrangements of genes exerting parallel control over the same traits. So, diri nahibal-an nga ang alleles is pairs of genes that exercise such parallel control over the same traits. So, naa diri ay mga common genetic disorder. Kining Down syndrome, sickle cell disease, phenylketonuria, o hemophilia. So, familiar naman jud siguro ta diri sa Down syndrome, di ba? Or kanang ginatawag nato nga mga special child. Each of our gene codes contains unique protein, and each protein has a separate and distinct function to perform in the cell. Effects of genes in our environment. Genes can be inherited, but their expression can be modified by interactions with the environment. Genetic traits are determined largely through the precise information found in the cell's gene structure. A variety of factors is the environment can actually alter the effects of a particular gene. Some examples of these effects are as follows. So, as we all know, ang kining genes is mamana jud nato ni siya. Di bale pag anak nato nanis siya sa tua. Pero pwede siya mausab or pwede siya mabag-o tungod sa atoang environment. Daghan og factors sa atoang environment nga pwede maka-change sa expression sa kana nga genes nga atoang na-inherit. Just like for example, the effect of light or chlorophyll production. Although most plants have the genetic ability to produce chlorophyll, they will do this only in the presence of light. So as we all know, we are all aware that plants produces chlorophyll, no? So, pero if ang plant is kulang or walay presence sa sunlight, ang chlorophyll ang plants is dili jud na siya makaproduce og chlorophyll. So, maskin pa og nature na nasa plant nga magproduce siya og chlorophyll, pero tungod sa factor sa environment nga walay init or dili siya makuanan og init, dili japon magamit to nga gene. Dili japon to siya ang plants makaproduce og chlorophyll. So, if walay without the presence of sunlight, ang plant is pale. Something yellow ang iyahang color. Pero if mainita na siya na may presence sa sunlight ng plant, is mobalik to siya og ka-green. So, healthy na pod ang plants. Next is the effect of temperature on hair color in the Himalayan hare. So, in their native Arctic environment, Himalayan hares have a white body hair with black hair on their extremities. So, just like sa Himalayan hare, nature na dyan na sa ilaha nga color white ang ilang color sa ilang lawas and black sa extremities. Dito sa Arctic, which is bugnaw. Pero ang mga scientist is nag-experiment sila. Gidala nila ang isa ka Himalayan hare sa isa ka lugar nga warm ang climate. And then ilahang gishaven ang back portion sa Himalayan and then ilahang gibutangan og ice tapos gihikot dito Mga pila ka kuan imbis white ang motubo nga buhok color black na hinuon. It's because nabag-o naman ang iyang environment. Di bale, ang factor sa environment na pod is ang warm na pod iyang climate. So, my report will end here and Miss Lape will continue the remaining topics.
Hi, I'm Joan Lape and my topic is all about the gene mutation. Gene mutation may be defined as being any changes in the nitrogenous base sequence of a molecule of DNA. So, ito yung may something changes sa DNA mo. Tinatawag siya ng mutation. So, when the base sequence of DNA altered, the amino acid of the polypeptide for which it codes will likewise altered. So, kapag ang DNA mo ay may mutation, ganun din ang mangyayari sa amino acid sa isang organism. So, ito yung halimbawa ng gene mutation na may something changes or abnormal gene sa iyong DNA. So, paano mangyayari? So, mutation can result from DNA copying mistakes made during cell division, exposure to ionizing radiation, exposure to chemical called mutagens or infection by viruses. Germline mutations occur in the eggs and sperm and can be passed on to offspring, while somatic mutations occur in the body cells and are not passed on. So, ano ang maaaring side effect ng gene mutation? So, maaaring maging abnormal ang epekto nito. Halimbawa sa baby, may abnormal siya DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA is a molecule that contains the instruction an organism needs to develop, live, and reproduce. These instructions are found inside every cells and are passed down from parents to their children. So, DNA composed of 3 subunits. First, phosphate group, a chemical group made up of phosphorus and oxygen. Second, deoxyribose, a 5-carbon made up of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Nitrogenous base, a chemical unit composed of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. Bases found in the DNA are adenine, thymine, T cytosine, and G is guanine. So, yan ang example ng building blocks na makikita natin sa ating DNA na and composed of 3 subunits, which nitrogenous base, deoxyribose, and phosphate. Punta na naman tayo sa DNA code. So, the adenine or A, thymine, T, cytosine, C, guanine, G. So, tatandaan natin yan yung 4 na DNA code. So, ayan yung code ng ating DNA. So, pair yan. Yan ang A and T and C and G ay dapat lang talaga sila yung magka-pair. Hindi pwedeng makakabaliktad-baliktad. Hindi sila pwedeng makakabaliktad-baliktad. Kung yan si A, kung ang pair niya lang talaga si T at si G, at ganun din si C lang talaga ang pair niya. So the DNA code contains instruction needed to make the proteins and molecules essential for our growth, development, and health. So kailangan talaga natin na contains instruction needed to make the proteins and growth para sa development and health sa isang tao o organismo. Genetic code is the code our body uses to convert the instructions contained in our DNA essential materials of life. It is typically discussed using the codons found in mRNA, as mRNA is the messenger that carries information from the DNA to the site of protein synthesis. So according to George Gamow, postulated that a 3-letter code must be employed to encode the 20 standard amino acids used by living cells to build proteins. So, ayan yung example ng genetic code chart or table. Yung first, so yung mga letters dyan is nanggagaling pa rin sa DNA. At para makakuha tayo ng amino acids, we have to combine them para makuha o makompleto natin yung amino acid. Genetic code is a dictionary that corresponds with sequence of nucleotides and sequence of amino acids. Words in dictionary are in the form of codons. Each codon is a triplet of nucleotides, 64 codons in total of 3 out of these are nonsense codons. 61 codons for 20 amino acids. Know the instruction in a gene that tell the cell how to make a specific protein sa protina sa ating katawan or sa na nanggagaling sa DNA. No, A, C, G, and T are the letters of the DNA code. They stand for the chemicals adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, respectively, that make up the nucleotide bases of DNA. So, in the mRNA, the U, your cell's nucleotide, is the substitute for DNA's thymine T.